representing the day-to-day life of an addiction to drugs, I think, in a better way than normal films, because um, in a lot of films, it's you want to hammer away how hard addiction is pretty
Yeah.
quickly because you don't have a lot of time. But I feel like addi- addiction doesn't work that way, where every day is terrible.
Yeah.
It's not like every day is awful and it's impacting your life on such a high level every day. It's kind of a buildup of little things and ideas that, you know, you get worse and worse and worse, and then it comes crashing down. And this movie did a good job of showing how, you know, drugs are cool sometimes. Like, okay, here's a little side rant. Everyone always talks about when you're a kid, they're like, don't do drugs. It'll screw up your life. They're
Requiem
awful.
for a Dream type thing.
And they really, like, I mean, in a lot of ways, a lot of drugs can. It's very serious. They can screw up their life. But nobody tells you how sick it feels to be on drugs. They're not like,
this is a fucking ride.
they're not, yeah, they don't tell you how awesome it is.
Yeah.
So when when you first do drugs, you're like, oh, this is why people would do drugs. You know, like, that's just a little side rant. But, you know, it's the day-to-day life is not as bad as the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
So I think that movie did a good job of representing that.
Yeah. As you were talking, it made me really appreciate it more. I feel like there is a time and place for these large consequences and these large detriments to health or relationships that drugs do make, I guess. But there are aspects of drug use that is very normal and everyday type thing, you know? Like, it almost reiterates the architecture and the parenthood aspect of this film in the sense, like, her mom using drugs, it's almost an emulation of the coma that his dad is in, you know, this rigid, like, regular way of life. I think that the worst thing about drugs, maybe my opinion most recently, is that, like, it doesn't necessarily ruin your life, or at least, you know, the drugs that I do. I'm not doing like heroin or anything that. But it makes you able to survive with the way that your life is, you know? And so just like Casey is going through, you know, she's just okay with the way that her life is. It's like emulating that mom's drug addiction. You know, it makes her life okay every day. And as a mom, as like a person, you know, that's fine. I'm not trying to judge or anything like that. But as a young kid, as Casey, you know, there is a lot of life ahead for her to have. And so, you know, having a person who is just like okay going through every day, being regular, being normal, you know, not having any aspirations or taking any risks or anything like that. I think it showed that effect on Casey.
Yeah.
You know, it emulated that, I guess, satisfaction with mediocrity, I guess.
It definitely, you know, her mom's impact with drugs trickled down into Casey's ideas for sure. And yeah, I like what you said about the mom being very similar to the dad, as far as, you know, her drug addiction is a big deal in the movie, but also her work schedule. She's not able to see her daughter most of the time.
Yeah, she works like night shifts or something like that.
Yeah, she works the night shifts, so they never really see each other because you got to be sleeping during the day and all of that. So that's got to add another stress, but the girl's love of her mom is so strong anyway, and it makes it so that their relationship is more heartfelt. You know, you feel for them a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's a lot of situations where a girl like Casey is not the same kind of quality level of person. You know, she's really extraordinary, and you feel for that in the film.
And the aspect of like if her drug addiction was more debilitating, then it would kind of leave more of an external factor on whether she stays or not, you know?
Yeah.
The fact that it is about her personal journey on moving on is honed in on a lot more because the mom's like drug addiction is not like super, it's not like she's like gonna overdose any other day, you know.
Yeah.
That would make it a lot harder for her to leave, and it would dramatize the story, but it wouldn't focus on Casey's character, you know, and her personal struggles on moving on and wanting more for herself.
But you can also understand the way she feels about her mother, because it is insinuated that it did hit that rock bottom.
Yeah.
And it was that bad. And so those scars are clearly there. So it really makes it better in both cases that they chose to do it this way.
Yeah.
Especially because most movies take the cheaper ammunition.
So it's just a smart writing choice in general that I really appreciated.
They had a lot of smart writing choices.